YouTube? You hear music? Is there music somewhere? You hear music? Isn't. Yeah, it probably is. If it's knowing me, it's probably like some ambient type music. Let's see who else is here. Hello, Cynthia. Yeah, it was very, it's kind of like meditation music. Hello, Tanya. Morning, Chris Dos. Yeah, I stopped it because we can't have music and do this at the same time. Okay, I'm just gonna get the screen big. Very mellow. Yeah, that's the kind of music I use late at night if I have to do things. Yeah. Yes, time is definitely a relative thing. Good morning, Heather. Welcome. That sounds like a lot of fun stuff. Scent cookies, biscotti, bread. Yes, Cynthia. Not many people know about Kitaro. Yes, it's very Kitaro. It's influenced by Kitaro. It definitely allows you to think. It kind of promotes thought. So it's very meditative. Hope you guys are all doing well today. Yes, celestial music. It's amazing. Yeah, it was music that was in the background on the device, on the phone that I'm using, so I didn't realize that I still had it on because it was really low. How's everyone doing today? Oh, we have 14. Okay, we got 14 people. Let's get started. Yeah, you can hear it because my window's open. I like to keep the room that I'm currently in is hot, and my body already runs hot, and the room that I'm in is hot. So it's like if I don't have the window open and letting in that air barely reaches where I'm at because the room is big. So you're gonna hear like drive-bys. So I apologize beforehand. All right, so let's get started. We've got shout outs to the tribe, shout outs to the little tribe, shout outs to the big tribe, shout outs to my sister Lee, shout out to everyone that's kind of here watching. Everyone on YouTube, hello YouTube people, if you're here, everyone around the world. If you're, so go support us on YouTube, follow, like, subscribe, click that little notification bell that lets you know when we come on. It'll help you. Hello, Jasmine on YouTube. Good morning, Tamra. Welcome. Hello. On Instagram, I've tried to regularly post our, the excerpts from the new books and things like that. So follow us on Instagram at @BitandPeaches. We have a bunch of people in the mob. Let's get a bunch of people on Instagram too. All right. ZAZZLE, we have some. Get yourself some holiday gifts. Use the referral link. Dolly will put up the referral link later. She's currently in and out of the room. So she's coming back and she'll come in, she'll fade in, she'll fade out. We're going to do, this is going to be a longer show. This is the extended version, the director's cut. And so it's going to be a little longer show. I think we'll end around 1. So it'll be like 30 minutes longer. So don't feel obligated to stay for the entire time, but you can pop in, you can go out. We'll be here until like 1 o'clock. So our M&S store on ZAZZLE, we have a special link that we use that makes your life easier, makes Dolly's life easier. So please use that. What is Jeanette saying? Let's see, I'm so happy how Requiem sounded. Oh yeah, the jokes. I haven't heard the whole thing, but I've heard excerpts, pieces. Kevin is an amazing narrator. So it always sounds incredible. And like I've always said, it leaves the youngest Valkyrie Z, who's our closer and opener. She was always like, I need to hear the rest of it. I need to hear more. So it's like, you have to wait. That's, we got to get the next book. Or we got to listen to the whole story. It's snowing. Where is it snowing? It's not snowing. Not here, at least. Maybe it's snowing somewhere else. Yeah, Instagram is looking better. That's good. I'm glad to hear it. All right, so let me continue. So we have, all right, so I'm going to make a few mentions of this today, but, you know, I cannot divulge the details. But we have two new Patreons, or two new patrons on Patreon. We have Anne Miranda. Thank you, Anne. And Wendy Schindler, thank you. I don't know if either of them are here, but I know they joined our Patreon recently, like this week, yesterday, or a few days ago. It's probably because of Peanut. Now, I can't tell you, hashtag Team Peanut. I can't tell you what the story's about, but we'll get into it a little bit later. But thank you to Anne and Wendy for joining our Patreon, because that's how the only way you're going to get to read those stories. Those stories are very specific to Patreon. So, yeah. Yeah, right? Wasn't that was pretty exciting. So I'm gonna get into it a little bit later, the whole Team Peanut, without spoiling, no spoiling, because those stories really are for the patrons. So I don't want to spoil them. And so I will heavily suggest parts of the story, but I will not spoil it. For me, even though Waking was a good one, I really liked Waking because it was like action-packed from the beginning. Peanut hit me in the feels when I wrote it, and then hit me in the feels again when I read it, because it's just like, we'll get into it later. All right, let me continue. I did send out a newsletter last month, which was awesome because I've been trying to send out a newsletter and it's been tough. So I sent out a newsletter and it was very, very well received. It was for Bullet Ballet, I believe, and the release of Bullet Ballet. So that went really well. So if you haven't signed up to our newsletter, go to orlandoasanchez.com and provide your email address, and then you can sign up for our newsletter. Dolly, later on, will put the contact information, the email, the link to that. She's our link person. She's our everything person. All right, here we go. Let's see some questions. Oh, first intense storm in the Midwest. I see. Okay. So just be careful out there. I didn't realize you guys are getting a storm out there. I know there was some storms coming, but I didn't realize it's today hitting out there. Stacy says we need a Peanut book. Okay, I was going over this with Dolly. We've got Team Peanut. We've got the Knack. We've got now Bug. We've got the Bangers and Mash. Bam, Bangers and Mash. There's a few teams out there now. Team Bam, Team Bug, Team Peanut, and Team Knack, or Knack the Coalition. So there's a lot. Let's see. It's snowing in Denver, but that's normal, right? Isn't Denver a big skiing area? Isn't that what it's known for? Let's see. So many tangents, Chris. So many tangents. Welcome, Davina. Good afternoon / good morning, good afternoon. Well, Team Peaches is always first, Cynthia. That goes without saying. I think we're all Team Peaches, you know? Wow. Yeah, so Team all of them. Yeah, Malcolm, it's like Team all. That's it. Hashtag Team all of them. Yeah, it's the way of the bug, but that can't really, that would have to be like Bug Doe. You know, I train in Bug Doe or something like that, Stacy, because if it can't be Team. Yes, that is true. He was the first, really. Peaches was really the first to kind of, Davina said Peaches doesn't need a team, he's just the one. Which reminds me so much of The Matrix is coming up. Craig El Dragon, how are you? Villains. Bugado. No, it can't be Bugado. That sounds so weird. But the one reminds me of The Matrix, which I may even join HBO Max for a month, because The Matrix comes out on the 22nd in theaters and on HBO Max. I might just join HBO Max for a month, like a trial period, just to be able to watch The Matrix Resurrections, which is the last movie. So I think Bug Doe is going to be next. Let's see, present but working on a dungeon in D2. Oh, nice. That sounds cool. Sounds really cool. Bug Fu. Yeah, but if it's the way of the bug, it has to be Bug Doe, because Doe means the way up. So it can't be Bug Fu. That's like Kung Fu, you know? So if it's going to be the way of the bug, or the way of bug, it has to be Bug Doe. Yeah, so Jasmine says there are a lot of ski resorts out here and people were complaining about the lost revenue Well, you're gonna have a lot. If it's they're reporting some serious snow headed that way, so you're gonna have a lot of snow. Yasmin, welcome. Good morning. Welcome, Mark. You're here. You're here. That's what matters. Definitely. If you're working on the dungeon, Craig, I can only imagine how horrible that is. I just did a dungeon in Destiny 2 for the gamers, the newest dungeon. It's someone who plays D&D made that dungeon because it's just full of traps everywhere. It kills you. And so I ran it with one of my older sons, who's a Destiny beast, and he carried me through it. And all he would do is say, "Hey, go switch that lever." Spikes. Oh, go switch that lever. Trapped. Die. It was like, oh my god, are you kidding me right now? So yeah, it could be Davina. It could be like Bug Do, or people screaming Bug Don't. Yeah, it's an awesome dungeon. It is an awesome, and it's hard as heck. That dungeon is, it has two levels, a regular one and a master level. The master level, I think is almost impossible. So yeah, exactly. Welcome, Sammy. Get good. Hey, I was on a warlock and it was working out really well, but it was tough, man. And so, yeah, and my son was baiting me. Every door, every lever, every area. Like, just go ahead. There was one ramp where it's totally out of Indiana Jones. You run up the ramp and this huge barrel comes down, and that's when you notice that the sides of the ramp have these little indentations where you can duck the barrel. And he tells me, "Oh yeah. By the way, watch out for the barrel as it rolls me over and kills me." I'm like, really? So I spent most of that dungeon laughing at all the traps and getting killed, but it was a lot of fun. It didn't take too long. No, not another one. No, Stacy, not another video game episode. So let's continue. So yes, I managed to send out a newsletter, and it was well received. So I want to thank you guys for, those of you who get the newsletters, thank you for opening and checking and everything. So yeah, it was awesome. Tamara says, can you imagine Peaches and Bug together in a crossover? Only if you want to see that world destroyed completely. That would be incredible. We need a few links. Dolly just came in. So we need a few links I'm going to go over real quick. We need the link for the ZAZZLE store and the link for the newsletter. Dolly's here, but she's off screen, stage left. Peaches and Bug in a crossover. You have to understand that Bug is in a world adjacent to the M&S World. So it would have to take Sid maybe transporting her to the main M&S World, like the main trunk. So she's like in a branch. Bug is in a branch of that tree. So Dolly's putting up the links now. A crossover with Bug and Sepia. I don't know if we could do that. I mean, again, anything is possible, but a crossover with Bug and Peaches is more feasible than a crossover with Bug and Sepia because they're related. The Bug and Peaches, the worlds are related. Like, the Sunacha and Sid actually he can make a conduit between the two. Bug and Sepia, that's a real stretch. So maybe. Yeah, I'm getting there. Oh, Holly's getting ahead of me. All right, so don't forget to go to BookBub and follow us there. Leave your reviews, all that fun stuff. Same thing with binge books. Get the binge books link. We call Bebo. Follow us there. Join Bebo and add some reviews there too. That'd be awesome. BookBug. No, it's not BookBug. I don't want to get sued by BookBub. It's BookBub. So that would be an incredible Christmas party at the Hunter's Keep if we could invite everyone. Yeah. My picture looks so scary on binge books. I'm gonna have to. I look menacing on binge books. Thanks, Chris, for putting up the Patreon link on YouTube. All right, so what else have we got? Also, later today, you got to stay to the end. We're going to have, I guess we're going to call them giveaways or sweepstakes. We're going to have a sweepstakes or giveaway. So stay to the end and you can participate. All right. And you can participate no matter what. So don't worry. Yeah, the mafia. The other one is the mafia pic with the suit and the top and the suit and the shirt, and me looking at you like, huh? And this one is, I'm going to incinerate you, or my hellhound's going to bite you. So yeah. I really recommend you join Patreon, not because it's my Patreon, because I mean I am biased, but I'm only gonna write certain stories for Patreon, and you won't be able to find them anywhere else. Unless someone from Patreon, unless one of the patrons does something unscrupulous and releases them, shares them, but they're only gonna be released on Patreon. So these stories, we're gonna speak about them, we're gonna refer to them, and you're gonna be like, huh? What story? Where? Trust me, it's worth it. It's worth it. And we have some great tiers, right? We have like $1, $3, $5, $10. It's like really affordable. So go for it. If it were me and me being unbiased, I would do it. Because even if it's $1, you're spending what, $12 a year, something like that. It's $1 a month. I would do it just to get the stories. You know, it's worth it. Yes, Team Peanut. We don't have unscrupulous mobsters. Our mobsters are awesome. Yeah, they're pretty awesome. Stacey, I do not look 60 in that pic. Come on. I gotta, let some more hair grow in for that picture. Well, there've been stories of, not in our group, obviously, but I have heard author horror stories of, something that I've never had to deal with, so I want to say that up front and be clear about it. That they've released, they've had ARC teams, advanced reader copies, and then some of those books have been released out into the world. I've never had that issue with any of the arts because, I mean, the shredders are amazing, and their purpose, at least in our group, the shredders, their purpose is to take that good story and make it a great one. So I've never had an issue with people releasing stories into the wild, as they say. I don't really worry about it too much with the shredders. I don't. I completely trust the shredders. If it were to happen, it's also a very small group, the shredders, which is why it's designed that way, because it has to be a small group. But I've had authors come to me and tell me, someone in my advanced reader group released the book or sent it out or put it somewhere. It's like, wow. That's messed up. Not only that, it's a bad policy because you will be found out sooner or later. So why do that? And then you get cut off from one of your favorite author's books, at least the advanced copies. So it doesn't make sense. It's like, cutting off your nose to spite your face kind of thing. Welcome, Dan. Welcome. Yeah, listen, to be a shredder, it's really easy in my group, at least in the mob. It's really easy to be a shredder because you have to just ask to be a shredder, and then the conditions are really simple. Read the story, leave some notes, and if you can't, it's so easy. If you can't leave notes, let's say your life gets in the way, you can always answer the questions. And then if you can't answer the questions and you can't leave notes, you're still part of the art. You're still part of the shredders. So I try to make it as easy as possible because I know it's hard sometimes. I've seen what goes into leaving notes. It's tough. It's a lot, and it takes time. So I appreciate my shredders immensely because of the work that they do. Yeah. So holla, Dan, welcome. Yes, Dan was busy hanging with Silk the Man. Yeah, Paige, that's awesome to do. Sometimes if it gets too out of hand, it's more work than it's worth to chase all the pirates. But you can always sometimes just say, listen, take this down, take it down, and they will usually. But to be able to shred for most, like I've been asked to shred, obviously I can't because my time is like crazy limited. But to be able to shred is a privilege. You're getting advanced exposure to a story that hasn't been. It's like being invited to a premiere, of a film without anyone else knowing. It's a pretty amazing thing, and you get to really be part of the process. When I say you take a good story and make it great, I'm not kidding. You take a good story and make it great, because as a writer, as an author, you miss so many things that are in your head, but you miss it because you're writing a story. At least I do, because I'm writing really fast, and so occasionally there'll be things like even the last story, Peanut. I missed some quotations. Dolly, like, you missed a quotation here, you missed a quotation there, you missed this. I'm like, and so your eye doesn't see it because when you're writing it, you're getting the story out and even though you go back and you do it nice and you try to comb through it with that fine-tooth comb, you'll still miss things because your eye is trained to put the words in there or the quotes in there. And so it's good to have different eyes looking at things. And it's important because then it does make the story better. And you don't get tripped up over simple things like this should be a comma here, or there should be quotes here, something like that. So for me, I see it as a privilege, but I also see it as being really fortunate because the shredders that I have are incredible. So again, there have been horror stories. Unfortunately, there are people who have different agendas, I would say. But it happens. I don't want it to ever happen in the shredders. But if it does happen, you get found out quick because the shredders who's shredding, it's a small group. And why do it? It doesn't make any sense, You're not gaining anything from it. So wait. All right, so let's move on. Okay, so let's discuss Requiem. How are you guys enjoying Requiem, the audiobook? I know Jeanette already heard it at least 300-500 times. So those of you who have heard the audiobook, I have to admit personally, I haven't heard it because again, it's hours and hours and hours. But the few parts that I have heard, awesome. Yeah, Davina, some people just do that. Some people just release it without, because again, it's unscrupulous. So yeah, usually what happens to a person who releases a book like that, once they get found out, they get removed from any further shredding because it makes no sense. And you could listen, this is the policy. If you don't want it discovered, don't put it out there, So you can find it. You can find it easily. There are many ways to find it out. Yeah, we wouldn't have to unleash Tammy. That would be dangerous. So. And Chris can track you. Chris can find you. So that would not be a good idea. So, Jeanette, have you listened to Requiem more than once? Nah, no way. Because I haven't yet. Holidays, end of the year. We're anticipating beginning of next year. Dolly says yes, we're anticipating at the beginning of next year. So beginning of next year will be Divine Intervention. I kind of want to focus on getting all the Monty and Strong books done before anything else. So we did do Monty and Strong related, like that world, get it all on audio. So if you see me looking off to the side, because I'm looking at the books that are coming up. So Divine Intervention will be the next book, and probably after that, by the time Divine Intervention is done, I think Stormblood will be ready. So we'll do Stormblood after that. So Kevin, listen, you're missing out on a treat if you haven't heard the audiobook. I know you say, yeah, I've read the book. Because this is what I said, I already read the book. And even more, I said, I wrote the book, but I already read the book. Why am I going to listen to it? It's a completely different experience. And it's the closest you're going to get to, how when you take a book and make it a movie, things are missing because, it's film. When you listen to a book, it's like having the movie. Oh, I guess the closest thing would be like the old radio plays. I'm dating myself, but the old radio plays where things would be acted out, sound effects and all of that. The audiobook is the closest you're going to get to a direct translation of movie to film. Well, this is movie to audio, and you get to have the movie play in your head. It's amazing. So Kevin is a fantastic narrator. So go get the audiobook for Requiem, and you won't regret it, really. Okay, let's see. Yeah, he really does add a lot. His voice, he's an actor. Kevin is a real actor. Like he's an actor. In addition to doing audiobooks, he's also an actor. And I think he brings a lot to the story because he has an acting background, right? And so he really embodies the characters to such a degree that I'm sitting there just in awe, listening to the story happen. And then like when he sends me the samples, it's 15 minutes long. I'm listening there. And then when it ends, I'm like, oh. And then it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna get the rest of it. But and I'm the one who wrote the book, but it's just like you get caught up in the story. So yes. So what is Jasmine saying? Oh, you have to go back to work. Okay, Jasmine, thank you so much for being with us. And if you can come back before, we're gonna be here till 1. So we got a lot of extra time today. So if you can come back, come back. If not, have a great weekend, Jasmine. Yeah, when the movies come out, we're gonna have to have them play in places where we can get the mob together. So we'll see how that works out for the premiere of the Monty and Strong story. So we'll see. Yeah, Jeanette, and that's all Kevin. So like we've discussed in the past, having Kevin do female voices. Who was it? That was your idea, right? Dolly was the first one to suggest. I think it was in the Rule of the Council. So my concern was having Kevin do the female voices was going to be too rough for his vocal cords, because he's going to have to be male and female in the voices, and that was going to be rough for him. And Dolly was like, so he was going to do everything in a male voice, and Dolly was like, he needs to do it in a female voice. So when he does female voices in Monty and Strong, it's amazing, because I try to emulate, I try to copy it. It doesn't quite sound the same. Yeah, so Chris, when we have a premiere with the mob, we'll make sure to lock down the city for sure, because it's the mob. You know how it is. All right, so let's continue. All right, Bullet Ballet is live. All right, so let's discuss the Bullet Ballet. And welcome, Gina. So what do you guys? So we've had a few weeks, I think, at this point to kind of let the story marinate. So give me your thoughts. Besides that, Bug is awesome. What are your thoughts on Bullet Ballet? Davina says international releases with premieres in multiple countries. Yes. We're going to have several releases and several premieres across the globe. Or maybe we can have like a global release and everyone at the same time is in a theater together. So we could do it now. We did it with quarantine and everything was Zoomed. We have multiple releases, multiple theaters, multiple countries, make it a worldwide event. Or fly everyone to the US and then have it in one big theater. Yeah. Right, and we have a Peaches for everyone. Where's Peaches? We have Peaches. So everyone who comes to the premiere gets a Peaches. That would be awesome. Goes home with a Peaches. So let me have your thoughts on okay, not just Bug, even though we already have the Bug United group. It sounds like a UK soccer group, football group. Bug United. I always think of Manchester United when I hear Bug United. But what do you guys think about Bullet Ballet? And I was thinking of continuing the story. I was telling Dolly, I was thinking of continuing the story where Porter gets kind of taken or kidnapped or something, and then the next story will be called something along the lines of The Way of the Bug, and she has to find Porter. So I think it'd be a nice twist to have Bug be the lead this time. So let's see. Has many levels. It's an incredible. Yeah, it is actually, Stacy. It is. Yeah. Yeah, you can't. I'm sure 18 will take your Peaches. So I don't think you want to get a Peaches. Was there anything about the story that didn't work for you, aside from the fact that it was too short? Because I know it actually had enough material to be much longer, but I kind of wanted to keep it novella length. So aside from that aspect of the story, that it was kind of short, and I had to kind of make sure that the character treatment was such a way that I could keep it short. Yeah, so that's part of the noir style that you don't. It's very it's kind of stripped away, and so you're not. It's not going to be a lot of exposition. It is like Chris is saying. It's really tight. It's really like boom, 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 boom. Was there anything else in there that didn't work for you guys that I could kind of modify for the next one? Yeah, Mal's is going to be an interesting character, Davina, for sure. She has an agenda, definitely. Right, Tamara, that seems, yeah. So Porter being kidnapped and Bug being the lead, you get to see a different dimension to her. You're also going to meet different companions because she's going to have to look for help. Maybe some will help her, some won't, you know? Oh, yeah. Yasmin saying she loved when she was yelling at Sava and Rick and then hugging Porter because she's like, can't believe he got a building. I don't want to spoil it for anyone at this point, but, you know, what she says at the end, and then she hugs Porter. So, yeah, I think she drops Rick when she does that. Oh, Tommy, well, I won't spoil it for you. If you just got it, enjoy it. It was a fun story to write. Oh, Stacy, yeah, I haven't had any freezing issues here so far, which is great. But has it been freezing? Yeah. So I apologize. It's a technological thing, but little parts. It's all recorded, so you won't miss anything if you want to go back and watch it. Croft needs to have a side story. Croft has a very deep story, but we just can't share it yet. Croft was the anchor in the sense of he was the place where Porter goes to kind of just get away from everything, you know? Croft is like his Cheers, where everybody knows your name. He goes there and that's where he hangs out. But Croft has a very deep story as well. Yeah, I haven't had issues here because my Wi-Fi seems to be going really well, but I keep hearing that it's going in and out. I like this show for a first book. Tamara says you need something slim and fast as an introduction to the world. I'm finding that to be the case, Tamara. Yeah, that something, it's almost like a treatment when you think about it. Hey, this is the world. This is a little short introduction to it. Let's see if it has legs, kind of thing. Davina says I like to see other companions with their people to see how their relationship varies. I never read The Wheel of Time, but I get the idea. You want to see the depth of the world. Yeah. Croft doesn't get involved until If any of you read Dresden, right, and you remember Mac in his like restaurant, cafe, bar place, that's what Croft is like. He doesn't really need to get involved until like much later on in the story. Will it be in paperback? It's not long enough to be, it's only like 140 pages. It would be a really slim paperback. I want to wait like what we did with Nixia or Rule of the Council. When you add more, it gets heftier and then it makes more sense to have it as a paperback. So Stacey, I'm going to wait until it goes into paperback. So, yeah. All right, let's move on. Sepia 5, Demon. That's going to be the last Sepia, actually closing out that series. That's the next thing that I'm working on. It's taking a bit of... So you remember the analogy of that being on that diving board and then jumping? That's the whole thing with Sepia. So I got to make sure that it does justice to the entire series. It's been, I don't know, at this point, how many years? It's been a lot of years for Sepia, unfortunately. So it's it's not that I'm reluctant, is that I want to make sure I do it justice. So it's taking a little while to get started on Sepia, but I already have the framework done, the outlines done. Now it's just a matter of the right beginning to pick up from where I left off. So yeah. Oh yeah, Dresden compare. I'm not comparing to Dresden at all. So, but I'm like all of us who came after Jim Butcher. It can't be helped because Butcher. It's not that he started urban fantasy. It's that Harry Dresden has a very special place in urban fantasy. And so every book after Harry Dresden will get compared to Harry in some way, some form, some shape, because that's just the nature of the urban fantasy world, you know? Yes, Sepia readers are beyond patient. It's like, it was 4 years between the third book and the fourth, but it's not going to be 4 years between the fourth and the last, thankfully, because that would be wrong. That would just be wrong. So the fifth book is coming. It's going to be done, and then the series will be done. And the only thing that will happen is maybe we'll have cameo appearances from someone from her world. 2016 is which one? Is that at the end of the third book, Chris? We've been waiting 5 years at this point. I apologize. I like to think I made up for it by writing a lot of Monty and Strong and Peaches. Hello, Leslie. Welcome. 3. Oh yeah, that was Sepia 3, 2016. So 5 years, 4 years to Nameless, and now Demon, which is the last one. So still faster, yes, but I don't want to get into George R. Martin's process because, you know, that's a touchy subject too. That's right up there with Dresden comparisons. So concurrently with Sepia 5, I'm gonna be writing Monty and Strong 15. So they're gonna kind of overlap. So when they're both done, it's gonna be like a 1-2 punch. You're gonna have Sepia come out, and then maybe a week or two later, you're gonna have Stormblood come out, and then the next project after that, I keep hearing in the back of my head, bangers and mash, bangers and mash. The next story after that, the next full novel will be Nocturne Melody, which is going back to Gray and Coda. So that'll be fun. What is Paige saying? I'm reading a new Gawaldon. 6 years. Wow. Yeah, see? So I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying not, even though I have done that with Sepia, I've done stuff in between. So let's see. Yeah, I mean, think of all this. So Chris is saying, you got me hooked and fed us better stuff to hold us over. Think of all the Monty and Strong, all the stuff between Sepia 3 and now has been stuff that kind of has been there to hold you over, you know? Sammy says, gotta love that quarter. I never set out to write fast. It's just that I have a lot of stories to write. So, you know, I just try to get it out there. And I try to write it as regularly as possible. Scott goes, how on earth do you keep all the worlds and stories straight? Magic? Magic. That's going to be my new answer, Scott. Magic. Yeah. And Janessa said, we still want more. Yeah, I mean, as long as I can write or speak, I'll get you the words. I'll get them out there. Tommy Rich says, meat is life. Stacey said you keep a bangers and mash on the side. No, there's a BAM. There's a BAM group too. So, that's Team BAM. BAM! With an exclamation point, not just regular BAM. So it's like, yeah. 10 years, and he's recently said, hopefully soon. Not even soon, just hopefully. I'm sorry, Davina. I never read any of George R. R. Martin's books, and all I hear is good things about them. But I can't get into a series like that where the author is not certain if he's going to finish it. It's like, okay, this is not a knock against Kevin Hearn. I read all the Iron Druid books. I own the last Iron Druid book. I can't read it because it started off, and then also I've had good author friends tell me, not spoil it, just tell me, you're better off just stopping at book 6, not book 7 or whatever the last book is, because of the way it ends is going to make you very, very, very upset, the treatment of the character. And I kind of get it. We get invested in the characters. We stand in for the characters. We're worried how they're treated. So all I hear is that Kevin Hearn really did Atticus badly. Like he really hurt him in the last book. And so I'm like, I don't know if I want to go through that. I don't want to be upset at Kevin Hearn because he's such a great writer. But the impression is that he kind of got tired of writing Iron Druid and didn't want to do it anymore and kind of rushed the last book. I don't know if that's true. That is all speculation. So, because I didn't read the last book. So I'm being, that's full disclosure. I didn't read it. I heard a lot about it. I have a lot of close author friends who told me if you read the last book, you're going to really, really be upset. Even though he tries to bring it back in Ink and Sigil and Blood and Bone, I think were the books he's writing with, that continue Atticus' story. I think he writes them with Delilah S. Dawson. But it's not the same as the Iron Druid. So don't read the last book. Be happy and continue on your life. And I don't want that to ever be the case with Monty Strong or anything that I write. I'd rather write the story, have it be fun, have it be enjoyable, but not have it be so long or get to the point where I hate writing the characters. If you get to that point, something's not right because you should enjoy writing your characters. Let's see. He says he screwed the pooch letting HBO take it and run. Yeah, see, so here's the thing about what happened with George R. R. Martin and the Song of Ice and Fire and all of this, and the moment I read or I saw that HBO had surpassed the series in terms of had gone past the story, the books, I knew he was in trouble. Because he either had to, because he was a writer on the show, I think he was a consultant on the show or something like that. But the moment they went further than his books, like further than the source material, I knew he was in trouble, because now they're not working with his material as much. They're creating their own kind of world. And that's like letting someone come into your world and start writing your story, and you have little to no input. And that's where it was like, okay, this is going to be a problem, because he's going to have to catch up to the show and pass it, and he doesn't write that fast, or he's going to just stop. He's going to have to back off and let them continue, which is what he did. And they ended it, and everyone was upset the way it ended. So, yeah. So Davina says, don't start it until he finishes, if he finishes, because the books he writes really well. I mean, if he didn't write well, HBO wouldn't have picked it up to make a series out of it. And when they made the series, it was a worldwide phenomenon. It took off. So he writes really well. It's just that he writes really slow, and that's his process. And there's nothing wrong with it, unless you want to make it a show. Then it becomes a problem. So you have to kind of weigh those two things. Like, if he was going to agree to it, he should have had the finished story, because at some point they took over it and they went past. And that creates a problem for him. It creates a continuity problem, because now if he writes any further books and they're different from what the show was, so now what's the source material? See, that it's not that it's no longer the source material, but it creates this difference in readers' minds. Yeah, they went up to writing it. It went downhill, and so it turned people off, right? Because people who were true to these books started to dislike where the show was going. Jeanette says, I wasn't able to get past book 1 of I Enjoy It. There was, it gets, from what I understand, towards the end it gets worse, Jeanette. So that's don't start it if you can't get into book 1. Welcome, Rico. I didn't see you. I saw you came in, but I didn't. So if I missed you when you came in, hello. Like, hello, Renee. Hello, Rico. And anyone else who came in while I was speaking. Renee, I can't see. I try to write interesting characters. Even my secondary characters, or what we call secondary characters, or the background characters, or whatever you want to call them, off-screen characters. I try to make them all interesting. They all have their own stories, and they can all have their own series, more or less. So I try to always write characters that are interesting. I'm always character driven, not so much plot driven, but character driven. And so I try to make my characters really, really interesting, you know? Yeah, I'm sorry. So Marvel changes source material all the time, because Marvel has multiple worlds. You know, Marvel has Earth 616, then these different dimensions. Then it's like just same thing like DC. You know how many times DC has killed Superman? It's like, and brings him back. And Marvel's done the same thing. So you're talking about a franchise or a story world that's been around for so long. They can keep evolving that way. Welcome, Linda. Let's see, what am I at? Rico says, enjoying the Gatekeeper book. I'm sorry you're in COVID jail. I hope you feel much, much better. That's what they do, Davina. They change it, they add it, and then they call it a multiverse. So in Earth 616, this happened, but in Earth 636 or 646, this didn't happen. And so they have different Earths, different timelines, same thing. So that's how they fix it. That's how you fix having so many retcons, too. I read the first, I want to say 3, 4, 5 books of True Blood with Sookie Stackhouse. It was really good. I never watched the show, but it was really, really good. But I don't know what happened to the show. I heard it was good, and I heard it fell off. So it's probably the same thing. Let's see, the character kept alive that died. Yeah. Here's the problem. When we make the Monty and Strong movie, it'll be a movie. I don't know if I could do a show, because in the show you need content constantly, and they're going to start changing characters. As the author, I would have an issue with that. I really would. So we'll see how that goes. Dresden is problematic in that you can also see where Butch is writing himself into a corner. Right. So that's what I talk about, power creep. When you have a character that's powerful, as you keep increasing that character's power, the enemies have to keep getting stronger. And so eventually, what I always say, you get into the god problem, which is now your character is almost a god. And so the enemies have to be gods or greater. And that's what's happening to Harry. He's getting stronger and stronger and stronger, so the enemies are getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and it's getting less and less believable. And so something devastating has to happen to Harry where he gets stripped of his power, or he becomes a god and just destroys everything. It's one of those two. And so Jim is writing himself, he's painting himself into a little bit of a corner. And so, yeah, so you want to, it's like walking that razor, that razor's edge. You kind of have to balance it, where your character can get stronger, but he has to either face stronger enemies and then it starts getting a little bit like out of this world, or he has to lose that power and come back to something that's a little bit more manageable. It's hard. You could always have the power lose the ability, the characters lose their abilities or their powers. That's one way of doing it. There's different ways of doing it, but that's a real worry, power creep, and you'll see it happening a lot, especially in the superhero, that the enemies have to be getting stronger and stronger and stronger before you know it, they're standing in front of Galactus. Things like that. Yeah, Sammy, you're right. It's gonna be a while because he has to deal with beings like Mab and the other wizards, but he's getting up there. He's pretty powerful. Chris, once you beat a god, I don't know what happened. What else is there? That would be tough. Let's see. True, Malcolm, you can always burn out the mage skill, or you can make it inaccessible. I have things like that happening later on, probably for Monty, because he's gonna go through this arc of power. And I've done it before in the past, so like the schism was a situation like that. So you can have things that kind of fluctuate a mage's power. And what I really have to worry about is Simon becoming too powerful, because he's immortal and you can't die. How do you deal with that? So, yeah. See, the power creep is a real thing. You have to, authors really have to deal with not making their characters too strong. That's also part of making the character flawed, because when you make the character perfect, then they're kind of boring. They gotta have flaws. And so, yeah. Lost in Space 3 is... I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that you can watch on one of the channels. Avoid power in characters. Most characters have to have some kind of agency or power. So that's why you have to create a flaw. Every character needs a flaw. So it has to kind of be that way. And the flaw is usually what kind of checks that power balance. Usually. Right, Davian, I get it. Yes, instead of using brute force power, they can solve it with intelligent wit. And for those of us that grew up with Sherlock Holmes, that's a very Holmesian way of doing things. We're figuring things out with your brain power. I tried to do that a bit with Bullet Ballet with Porter. If you notice, someone made a great observation saying they call it a bullet ballet, but only one shot was fired. I think it was more than one shot. I'm pretty sure it was more than one shot, but it wasn't a true... Well, let me step back. A bullet ballet, the actual term, a bullet ballet, goes back to John Woo films. And if you've seen John Woo films, you know that it's like a lot of shooting, gunfire, gunplay, everything, really cinematic, artistic. Whoa, look at the position. That's what a bullet ballet is. But it's also a feel, that noirish feel. And so what I did with Bullet Ballet, even though there's not a lot of gunfire, it's the general feel of that. And so I tried to have Porter use his wits more than his abilities. He's really powerful, but he's also really smart. And I tried to have him solve things without having to fire his gun too much. So that was the kind of balancing act there. So he wouldn't come across as this gatekeeper who was all powerful, but also he wouldn't come across as, why is Bug doing everything? Even though Bug is the scary one. Yeah, Chris, he's not crazy. It's just written that way, right? That's not exactly a flaw. That Mark, M&S's flaw is that everywhere they go, the destruction follows. That's actually a design feature, but it's not a wanted design feature. Yeah, I've actually read, I know the author, Alistair Stone, so she's great. And she has like, I don't know, it's like 20 something books at this point. I met her at 20 books, 50K when I went to the last one. Yeah, Alistair Stone is pretty good. He figures all the stuff out and he uses his ability infrequently. So he tries to figure things out first without going, you know, to use his powers. Rico says, please keep going with the branches. There's so many branches, it's scary, Rico. There are books just waiting to be written, and I have stories waiting to be written that I have to get to. There are not enough hours in the day. Bug, I don't know if I can have Bug break the fourth wall. I didn't expect Bug to resonate the way she did, but a lot of people have resonated with Bug. Oh yeah, I can't forget, Mark is pointing out the doves. Every time something dramatic happens in a John Woo movie, like a dramatic stunt, there's a flock of doves somewhere. I think I'm going to add that into one of the Monty Strong stories. 28 pages of page. Alice Stone is 28 is due out. Yeah, I believe her name is Ara King. She is a very prolific writer, but she only writes Alice Stone. But it's a great character, great world, and he's a lot of fun. She writes really fast, so. She's a great person. She's really introverted. So she had a little bit of she was just like really reserved doing 20 books. Great stories, great ideas. So Tamra, here's the thing. Yeah, great. Well, we'll get to Sammy. What the thing is, what balances out Porter is Bug's complete abandon and recklessness and potential for destruction and mayhem. That's what balances out Porter. So they're like two sides of the same coin. So if Porter loses it, could you imagine what Bug is going to do? So he always has to keep that kind of check. And Sammy says, like what you did with Gray's power limiter. Right. And Gray, remember, Gray used that spell and he's dying. So if he loses his sword, he's done. So that's a serious check on his balance. But it's an ongoing battle with that sword because the sword wants full control. So yeah. So Jeanette says need a block cleared out. Heritage rules into framework permits. Oh, call M&S investigating. Well, all your destruction problems. That'll be the new tagline. All your destruction problems are dealt with professionally. We take destruction to a new level. Yeah. So for Gray to use power, he has to expect an intense migraine right afterwards. This is why he doesn't like to use his power. It's either that or he risks losing himself to Izanagi, which is not a good thing. So he's not going around flinging power everywhere he goes. He really tries to figure things out. And then he has Frank. So Frank could use power, but Frank is also like kind of dangerous too. So he also doesn't like to let Frank lose too much. What was the last book Gray was in? Was it Bangs and Mash? So in Bangs and Mash, you see Gray use some ability, but he's still not going full out, you know? Yeah, R.L. King is really good. She writes really well. Let's see. Okay, but see, if I take them to NOLA, because Stacey's saying M&S needs to come to NOLA, which is Louisiana, down. There's too many historical things I don't want to destroy down there. And so, yeah. And there's always a price. Like Chris says, there's always a price for using power. I try to make that evident in the stories because sometimes you'll see characters with all this power and they're using this power and it seems like there's no cost to it. There's always a cost to the power. Always. Yeah, isn't KF Breen in NOLA? I try to stay out of places where some authors have claimed. Like New York, I can claim because New York is such a big city. And it's going to be in so many different places, like so many different authors. But New York is a character unto itself. And so I could be in New York and destroy New York. And you notice most of my stories are set in New York or London, which is the next Stormblood, is going to be in London. But places like Louisiana, or like smaller places, it's hard to go in there and write stories because some authors have really made that place part of their stories. And it's almost like stepping on authors' toes. I don't want to step on any author's toes, you know? Just like that. So I try to stay away from places like, there's a few authors who've done that with particular places that, you know, like noir and LA go hand in hand. You know what I mean? Like original noir stories in Los Angeles, that's kind of where they started and they go hand in hand. You don't see many noir in New York, even though they're similar cities. It's mostly an LA thing. I don't know why. That's just where it was. That's just where it started. And even the noir films, most of them is set in LA. You get that hardboiled detective living in LA or having an office in LA. It's just like that, you know? Let's see. Right, yeah, if you dislike my characters, I've done something right. If it polarizes you that way, if that's like Davina's saying, if you really dislike her as a person, if you dislike Chi, that means I've done something right. Some button has been pushed that you're like, I can't stand this character. Perfect. I never take it personally. Rico says, I like the corruption in the M&S books because it lends, yeah, it does lead to many different stories, and that's the design of it. I'm glad I was able to do that early on, because doing it now, after so many books, would be nightmarish. Stacy says, just a visit, you can do voodoo magic. I don't think I need to go to Louisiana for that, though, because there's a big undercurrent of something called Santeria, which is very related to voodoo magic in New York City. So I don't need to go all the way down. I don't need to go south for that. I could do that right here in New York. And it's huge. It's very, very big. And that comes all the way from Africa. And it landed here, too. A buttload of authors recently devastated. See, I don't devastate the entire city of New York. I devastate buildings in New York. I try to keep the city intact. Like even in Bullet Ballet, there's only one specific building got devastated. But I try to. Okay, so here's the thing about voodoo, and certain religions that are and certain practices that are considered religion. You have to treat them with a certain respect. So you can't just write about these things. You have to treat them with the respect that they merit. And so that's why I'd be really cautious about jumping into those. Notice I don't really mention religion. I mentioned the characters from certain mythologies, but I don't go into religion. There's a reason for that. I try to stay away from it. M&S time travel. They can be who destroyed the White House, not how history that tells it, or responsible for Alexandria Library. That would be with Sid and the designers. That's later on, where you'll start seeing things that happen that Sid had to kind of finagle to make sure that it fit within the consciousness of humanity, but it was really something else that occurred that he had to fix. That's why he's called the designer. Dan, thank you. You have to go. So Dan, oh yeah, Storm Barra is, I hear it's really strong. Please be careful out there, Dan, and just be safe, okay? Thank you for being here, though. The underbelly of New York has everything. Yes, the underbelly of New York. If you've never been to New York, it's really two cities. It's interesting. It's like the surface world, and then there's the underbelly, and you can find everything in the underbelly. Listen, in terms of source material, New York will never be exhausted. Never, ever. It's too much. When people say New York is a character, it's a true statement. You can find everything and anything in New York City. Stacy says, I totally agree about voodoo, Santeria. Yeah. One, don't mess with them. And two, if you're going, I know people who will read my books, and if I get something wrong, they will let me know. And I'd rather not get something wrong. So I kind of stay away from those subjects unless I have to do a lot of research first and then introduce it in a way with a modicum of respect because of, it's just what it is. So something like that. When you're dealing with beliefs of a certain kind, you can't just be flippant with it, Let's see. Chris says, I love Sid. Yeah, Sid is awesome. Sid is going to be a very instrumental character. No one, I never get that, Davina, when people say, I want you to bring my city to life, or I want a character based on me who is really happy. Everyone is, destroy the historical monuments and let me die in your books. Yes, that's basically what I get. That's even the whole red shirt thing is, let me die in your books, basically. All right, so let me continue. Oh, okay. And I'm still in the audio updates, and we have like half an hour left. Jeez, we're going to have to do these sweepstakes soon. We might have to go past one a little bit. All right, Team Peanut, I'm not going to get into it. Listen, I was going to get into a little bit more, but we're kind of short on time. And also, I don't want to get into it out of respect for the patrons who are part of Patreon. All I can tell you, I read the story again yesterday. I think I read it like every few days. It's that good of a story.
Shout out to Melissa Miller and Malcolm Roberts.
I want to shout out Melissa Miller and Malcolm Roberts, who recently just joined our Patreon. Go! I know we're having so much fun, and it is the last show of the year. This is our last show of this year, so we might extend a little bit. So Team Peanut, the story Peanut, it's poignant is the word I think I would use for it. It's something that really, like I said, when I was writing it, I got the feels, it hit me in the feels, and when I read it, it hits me in the feels. And I will tell you that Dex is in it, but in a way that you probably haven't seen him before. And it's an amazing story in the sense that I read it and it's like, whoa, that's such a great little story. And I'm not saying this because I wrote it. It's because that's a story that I would love to see done in a different medium, like maybe in a longer book. Like, I can't spoil it for anyone, but let me just tell you that it's a great story. It's a really, really, really fun story. And yeah, what are your thoughts on Peanut?
Epic.
Epic, Dolly says. Epic. I'm going to go.
Should not be missed.
It should not be missed. I feel like I'm watching a movie. Epic. Should not be missed. As a dad, right? Because I am a dad. I try to write it from that point of view, and also how I deal with my Valkyries and my warrior in certain situations, you know. So it has that component, but then it also has the kick-ass component of power. And so it's like, it's hard to, I try to balance the phenomenal, overwhelming power and the relative vulnerability and innocence of a child combined in that story. So if you haven't read it, I don't want to spoil it for you, but you should definitely read it. All right, that's all I'm going to say on Team Peanut, but go Team Peanut. But it's really like a dad dealing with a child. And yeah, that's it. That's all I can say. I don't want to get into it because I get the feels. I don't want to get the feels. Don't make me get the feels in the middle of a coffee clutch. And it's only available to Patreon subscribers. It's only going to ever be available to Patreon subscribers. I'm big on releasing snippets. I have no problem releasing parts of the stories that I write. Really, I don't. I enjoy sharing that with you. But this is basically for those people who want to support us through Patreon. So it's only for them. I'm not even going to release snippets of this story. It's like, go, go to Patreon. Support us on Patreon. It's not just Peanut that's there. How many stories do we have on Patreon? 3, right? We've got the interview of Ursula. We got Ursula's interview. We got Waking, which is a great little story. I liked Waking. And now we got Peanut. So just go. Just because the stories that I'm writing for that are kind of like flights of fancy, like stories that I would write but not really be serious about in terms of I'm not going to put it in a book, but what if this would happen or what if that would happen? Although Peanut is going to be kind of like a prequel to a series. That much I can tell you. So you should really read it because you'll understand a little bit more of the history of the character if you read that story. All right, let's move on. So someone wanted to have, I don't know if it was Stacy, I think it was Stacy. Someone wanted to have bug t-shirts. And I was like, and Dolly gave me a look like, how are we gonna have bug t-shirts? I don't have artwork for bug t-shirts. What art am I supposed to put on a bug t-shirts? And I was like, you're right, because there's really no image of bug on the cover. Without that tone, I'm adding the tone. But she was like, how am I supposed to make like bug t-shirts? We don't have art for it. So I was like, yeah, you're right. But you can put Bug's sayings from the story on a mug and like put hashtag Team Bug. And she was like, oh, we can create bug mugs. And like, yeah, so we could definitely do bug mugs. So I think she's going to make some bug mugs in the near future sometime and put them up on the ZAZZLE store. And you can have like quotes from the story and have a bug mug. And it'll be awesome. So Stacy, you've implemented, you've inspired bug mugs. There you go. So until we get art for Bug, which I have an idea what she looks like, but I'm a little reluctant to put art for like what she looks like on a cover, because whatever I think she looks like, someone's gonna say that's not what Bug looks like, and I'm gonna be like, okay, yeah, I only created the character. So that always happens. I think the only time that hasn't happened has been with Gray and Coda and Monty and Strong and Peaches, because Peaches, I describe him exactly the way he looks on the few covers that he's on, right? So Bug mugs are coming for you in the near future. They're gonna be epic, and they're awesome sayings. She has like, Dolly told me she has the best lines in the story, and it's true. I agree. Bug has the best lines, so I can see a bunch of Bug mugs. # Team Bug. So yeah, and there's also Team Bam, Bangers and Mash, Bam with an exclamation point. Not just Team Bam, it's Bam. So that team is asking for more Bangers and Mash. So there we go. Yeah, I don't know what Bug is gonna get for her own emblem. The cover. So Malcolm is asking, will Bug get her own emblem similar to a dragonfly? So first of all, the dragonfly is singular. There's not gonna be another symbol like that. Second, the symbol in the front of the gatekeepers, like the cover, is a winged sword, which is an old military symbol, which is the symbol of the gatekeepers. So if she has anything, and remember, she's not the lead, even though she appears to be. She's not the lead, so she really doesn't get a symbol. She's still, if she's on the cover, behind her would be the cover of the winged sword, because it's still a story of the gatekeepers, and it's all in relation to the gatekeepers, right? Malcolm says Team Ava. Jeez, really, Malcolm? You're gonna bring Ava James up, right? Thanks. All the teams. The Chronicles of the Modern Mystics has to be revisited because it does have a trilogy, and I'll get to it eventually. Yeah. I hear snickering off to the side. We can put that symbol on the T-shirt. I can give that symbol to Dolly. I'd have to get it from a designer because they're the ones who created that symbol. I told them what I needed and where it came from, and they found the right symbol for it. Right. Bug is not the lead, like Peaches is not the lead, even though, and people were asking, why isn't Peaches on any of the covers? I said, because it's not. I said, because it's not his story, and I was quickly corrected. Yeah, but Peaches is the star of every story, which is true, but it's not called the Peaches Detective Agency. It's the Montague and Strong Detective Agency. So, So I'm going to say she's not the lead and leave that in quotations, okay? Because I don't want to get bugged. Let's see. Ava was awesome. Ava, if you recall the Chronicles of the Modern Mystics, Ava is the bridge from Sepia to Monty and Strong. If you look at the way the story is written and the characters in that story, it's very much that bridge of how do I go from Sepia's world to Monty and Strong's world. Ava is that bridge to go there. All right, let's get to, geez, we still got time? Oh, good, we got time. All right, so we're not going to do sweepstakes yet. We're going to get to, so okay, what we do here, right, not just in the Mob TV, but in the Mob, I'm a big believer in supporting authors. I had a lot of support once I started writing Monty and Strong, but there were a few years prior to Monty and Strong where very few people knew who I was, and very few people supported me. I have some strong supporters from the beginning. Dolly, my editor, supported me from the beginning, but I was still kind of very unknown. But I always said to myself, if I ever get a little bit more successful, I'm going to make sure that other authors who need help get the support. So this is what we're going to do now. We're going to shout out and promote some of the authors who are currently writing projects. Some of them you may know, some of them you may not know. I know all these authors personally. I've met them all. I think with the exception of Nazia. I don't think I've met Nazia. No, I think I met Nazia at 20 books. So I've met every one of these authors, and I'm going to promote their latest book. So the first one we have is Rick Gualtieri. You guys may know him from Build a Vampire. This is like our little commercial segment. It's awesome. So Dolly's going to put the links up to their books, as I mentioned. Rick's book is going to be, hold on, let me get to the title. So Rick's first book, not first book, but the first book of the Hybrid of High Moon is called Get Bent. And then the series is The Hybrid of High Moon. And the title of that one is Get Bent, which is an awesome title. So if you're looking for something to read and you kind of want something a little different, Rick Gualtieri has some awesome books. He has the Build the Vampire. I think he just redid all the covers recently. Series is really funny. I read the first one. It's good. Rick is a great writer, so give that a try. Okay? Yes, I know a lot of you were fans before Monty and Strong, which is, I won't say fans because I don't like the word fans. You guys were all readers before Monty and Strong, and I really, truly appreciate that. When I started the mob, we only had 56 people, but those 56 people were readers of The Spiritual Warriors, Sepia Blue, Blur, all those awesome stories. All right, so Dottie put up the series for Hybrid of High Moon by Rick. Our next one is Nasri. I remember when Nasri wrote his first book. It's like watching your kids grow up. So when Nasri, has a new series, The Arcane Hearts. Book one of that series is A Touch of Fever, and Nasri is a very prolific writer. He's an excellent writer. So if you're looking for something to read, I think he told me that it's MM, which is male sometimes. So just be aware. The story has male aspects in it, but he writes really well. That's the link for Nasri stuff. A Touch of Fever is the title. Next is I don't know, I guess I could say it. Most people don't know that these two are a couple, but I met them at 20 Books, and I was like, you guys are really? So Alex Steele and Stephanie Fox have the Chaos Mages. That's a great series. They're on book 5, so get to Hell and Back. That's I think it's the most recent urban fantasy buddy cop thriller, as they call it. The Chaos Mages. They write really well. Great people. Spend a lot of time doing breakfast and lunch. Great people. And they have another book in the Chaos Mages. Oh, book 1. So if you want to get started into the Chaos Mages, Stolen Trinkets is the first one. An urban fantasy buddy cop thriller. The Chaos Mages, book 1. So Alex and I just want to make sure. So it's Foxy Steele or Steely Fox. I don't know how they do it. They're great pair. I mean, when I met them, they were kind of being nomads, which was so cool. They were living like out of an RV, and then now I know they settled down. They picked somewhere to settle down, which is awesome. So they're writing, and they're book 5 of the Chaos Mages, and they write. I know Stephanie has written stuff, and now Alex and Stephanie are writing stuff, so that's fantastic. So pick up their stuff. I think that's the end of the books. Chaos Mages is a great series. All of these are great series, and they're all great authors, great people. So please go get their books. I'm a big believer in sharing all the authors. As you know, we have the L3, which is Larry's literary list, which we try to explode or implode Larry Tushman's Kindle. To date, it hasn't happened, but we're still hoping that one day it'll just blow up. It still hasn't happened, so he must have an extra special Kindle with extra memory. So definitely go get those authors. Dolly put the links to each one, and you just, sometimes you're looking for stuff to read. These are writers, authors that you can pick up and read. I would recommend all of them. They're going to be different, obviously, but try them out. See if you might find a new author you like today. So that would be cool. I don't think any of the guys of my crew, John and such, have new books out yet. But once they do, I always let you guys know. But I also encourage you guys to, if you find an author that you really enjoy, L3 it in the room, L3 it in the mob. Everybody, we all start out as readers. So if you find something you say, oh, this was great, I really enjoyed it, L3 it in the room. Let us know, because I'm always enjoying when I get the time to read, I like to read, good authors. I'm currently waiting for Benedict Jacta to release his last Alex Verus book. It's supposed to come out in December sometime, so I'm waiting for that. And just L3 it. L3, so the format is L3, title of the book, leave a link to the book too. So L3 means Larry's literary lists. It's a list that we created of books. It's also a way to find books within the mob. If you put in the search function and you put L3, you'll find a whole list of books, Rico, of books that we've recommended. And the purpose of that list is to explode Larry Tushman's Kindle. It hasn't worked yet, but we're working on it. But also, if you find something that you enjoy and you think, oh, I think the mob would like this, then L3 it. You don't have to wait. You don't have to ask me. I've had people ask me, can I recommend this book? If you think it's a good book and it fits the room, go for it. It's either going to be like, I like that book, or yeah, I don't like that book. It's okay. Everyone has different tastes in terms of their reading, but share with us, because I like to find new authors too. Sometimes my echo chamber, sometimes my chamber is limited to the authors that I know. Even though I know a lot of authors, but you know, it's sometimes there's a new author that I've never heard of, and I'd like to read their story. That'd be awesome. So Rico says he missed Patreon. Can you put the link up again? Dolly's gonna put the link up again so you can read the Patreon, so you can join Patreon. We try to make the tiers really affordable. So let's see what else we have. All right, so we did that. Oh, I think we could do the giveaway now. Yeah? All right, we're going to do the giveaway. So, no cowboy romance. I don't know, Mark. It has to, I don't know if it's going to work, cowboy romance for the L3 list. Maybe you can send those directly to Larry. I'm sure he'd appreciate it. Rico, there's a link to the Patreon. All right, so here's how we're gonna do this. Dolly has the format. She's gonna take the names, put them in an Excel, and then we're gonna do a random number generator. So the first thing we're gonna do, the giveaway, is an audiobook of any of the Monty and Strong books. Right now, here's the deal: you may have all the audiobooks. That's okay. You give us an email of someone you may want to gift it to, and we'll give you the code, and you can give them that. You can gift them that book, because it's that time of the year to give gifts, right? So she's opening up her Excel sheet as we speak, and it's there in the background. And so we're gonna put all the names in, and then random number generator, and whoever gets the audiobook gets the audiobook. And then again, even if you already own the audiobook, you can gift it to someone else. So is that considered regifting? You can re-gift it to someone else. Yeah, Jeanette, that forget you on that one. I'm sorry. I seriously think Kevin calls Jeanette before he tells us. I really think Kevin, he has like a line, Jeanette, the next audiobook is out, you know? So you can opt out too. You don't have to do the giveaway. The giveaway is just something for everybody to kind of, we're going to do something nice. It's the holidays, something, you know, to give something to someone. So yeah, we don't do these often, you know? So we're going to do it today. And it's just for you guys. I mean, the mob is much, much bigger than the 20 somewhat odd of us that are here. We have over 1,000, like 1,500 people in the mob. I really, really doubt that 1,000 people interact in the mob on a daily basis. So, but you can definitely regift it, you know? And then the next one we're going to do after the audiobook is an ebook. Same deal. So we're going to do the audiobook first, and then going to do the ebook first. Now, if you own every single ebook, regift. So it's open to everyone. So if you're on YouTube right now, and so Chris should give us the list of anyone who's on YouTube. Huh? We need names. So who's in? If you're in, type audio in the chat. And that way we know who to put in the pool and run the random number generator. So if you're in, just type audio. If you don't want to be in, you don't have to, you know. There you go. You got Tommy Rich, just a whole bunch of people. Good luck. Good thing Dolly types really fast. There's a lot of people in. That's awesome. Yeah, we tried to make it something that you can have no matter what, in terms of not having to worry about shipping it out to you, Like you can have this right away. It's fast, you know, this way. 4 viewers but quiet. Okay, so the 4 viewers, I'm sorry if you're not going to let us know you're in, you're not in. Sorry. You got everyone?
I have 13 people. Anybody else? I think we should add Dan because he came in at 10.
Yeah. Put Dan in there too.
Because of this hurricane.
He had to leave because of storm Bara. 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12. If you have 13, it looks like you're about right. Jasmine. What does that mean, Malcolm? Jasmine audio. Craig is in for the villains. Jasmine also. That's very gracious of you, Davina. Thank you.
Okay, I'm pasting them as well.
Yeah, everybody? Okay, Chris has 2, he says. Which 2, Chris? Chris is gonna give us his 2. Name, oh, sorry, Dolly's asking if his name's other than Tommy Rich. I think this is pretty awesome. Jelly bean cats. That works. Okay, is that it, Chris?
Yeah, I'm pasting the names and everybody have a look.
All right, put up the names.
Who's missing?
Dolly's gonna put up the names. Check to make sure your name is there if you're in. Okay. So if you're in, check the list Dolly just put up. Make sure you're on it, and then we're just gonna do the RNG, the random number generator, and it will pick one. You ready? I'm excited. I'm excited.
Everybody, is Chris in?
No, Chris is Chris in? Are you in, Chris? I don't know. He might be busy. This is very exciting. Now I know what it's like to be on a game show. So Chris is not in. It says no, not me. All right, RNG is happening. Did we do it?
Oh, I haven't done it yet.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so this is the RNG is being generated. You see it?
What is it?
She's covering the number.
Can you press the blue?
I can press the blue. I think. Oh, you gotta press the blue. All right, here goes. Number 17. So that would be, is that Jelly Bean Cats? Jelly Bean Cats won the audiobook. Chris, you're gonna have to contact Jelly Bean Cats. Okay, so now we're gonna do the ebook. Oh, sorry. Jelly Bean Cats! Congratulations! Yay! Okay, ebook, same thing. Type in ebook if you're in for the ebook. You can do the same thing if it's an ebook. So you're gonna get to choose whatever ebook you want. So it could be any of the stories written. So if there's a book you wanted to try but you haven't gotten to, or you kind of want to get it but you're thinking about it, this is your chance to try and say, hey, okay, I'll go for it. So if you're gonna be for the ebook, if you own all the ebooks, put your name in anyway, because if you win, you can just you make a gift and send it to someone else. Hey, I want you to try this author, kind of thing. So that's what I would do. YouTube are the same too. Chris says. I'll make sure to do the drum roll this time.
Alrighty.
+1, Christine on YouTube. No for villains. Hedging your bets.
What does that mean?
He's out. He's out.
Okay, who's the most friendly?
Jelly Bean Cats, congratulations! Terry's asking to be in also. This is very exciting. We need to do these things more often. Terry, did you get Terry?
Please speak up or forever hold
Dahlia says, please speak up or forever hold your peace. So this is the time to put your name in. Now. We kind of need like game show music. Dun, 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 dun. You know? This is very exciting.
Okay, final one.
You ready? All right, final list is up. Let's see. Where is it? Did you put it up? Just check the final list. Make sure your name is on it.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Wait, make sure there's no answer. Like, oh, I want to be on.
Okay. Alright.
Hold on. Jeopardy.
10.
I'm frozen here. Are you frozen over there?
No.
Okay, good.
10 is sweet. Cocoa.
Sweet Cocoa. Tanya, you win the ebook. Huh? Oh, wait, drum roll. Sweet Cocoa. That drum roll was earth-shattering.
So ask them which ebook
So Tanya wins the ebook and Jelly Bean Cats wins the audio. What? Where am I muting?
Use your
Oh.
computer.
Look at that. That was so amazing. Everything fell. We had like a minor earthquake. All right, awesome. All right, so Tanya, contact Dolly. Chris, since you know Jelly Bean Cats, contact Dolly and let her know, give her the info, and she can email you all the stuff you need, like the codes for the audiobook. And Tanya will let her know which book you want, and then we can email it to you. Enjoy, guys. All right, so we're almost done. Our next Mob TV show will be on the 7th of January, not the 7th of December, like I said in the post. I had to edit that. So the 7th of January. So I want to wish you guys all happy holidays because we have big holidays coming up. And a happy new year. Be safe, guys. There's this new variant out there. So really, look, it's the same thing I've been saying since the beginning of COVID. Be safe. If you can get vaccinated, get vaccinated. If you don't want to get vaccinated, wear your mask and social distance and, be as safe as you can, all right? Keep yourself safe and healthy and keep your family safe and healthy. And with this new variant, take all the precautions as if it were the first one. Just be safe. So I want to wish you all happy holidays. Thank you so much for being on our extended
Q&A.
Mob TV. We have, wait. We have Q&A. My God, how can I forget? All right, I'm sorry, guys. Got so excited with the game show. Thank you, Dolly. Dolly just reminded me we have Q&A. So if you have to leave, it's okay. You can leave. We got to do the Q&A. I'm not going to leave without doing Q&A because there are questions here. All right, questions first one is from Audrey. Yeah, wait, there's more. This is like a Marvel movie. At the credits, there's more. So, Audrey asks, there's more stuff. It's going to be a longer episode than we thought. Audrey asks, Orlando, have you ever had a holiday meal get-together disaster? No, our family was really small, and so we didn't really have those big classes. That was when I was older. When I was younger, we used to have big family gatherings. Those were disasters. So I think it was because of that we started having smaller family gatherings, because the large family gatherings occurred when I was really young and things would happen. But I don't recall too often because I was really, we're talking 7, 5, 6, 7, 8, around there. So after that, my mom said, no, we're gonna have our own little family gatherings. Okay, next question from Audrey. Thank you so much for the question, Audrey. Next question from Audrey for Dolly. Are you interested in being an author? Why or why not?
I haven't thought about it.
The answer is, say it a lot louder.
I have not thought about it.
She hasn't thought about it. I don't know, does that answer the question?
I haven't thought about the question, therefore I have no...
She hasn't really thought about being an author.
Right, correct.
Okay, that's her answer. All right, Orlando, and thank you for that question, Audrey. Do the holidays change anything about your writing? For example, scheduling or memories that affect your writing? Take care, Craig. Not really. I think I have more downtime during the holidays in my writing, but that's about it. But they don't really change anything about the writing. No, just more downtime. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, for sure, Chris. Definitely. Oh, this is where Stacy asked her question. Will I get a bug t-shirt? We've addressed that, Stacy. Bug mugs for the win. Thanks for that question, Stacy. Mary Beth Wright asks, how many members does the Bug Coalition need before we get more? I don't know. We gotta see how many members are in the Bug Coalition now. So you gotta see. I would say it just has to be. It doesn't have to be a big group. It just has to be a vocal group. So that's how the knack happened. So it has to be a fairly vocal group. But I think we're gonna get more Bug anyway. So there you go. Those are the questions for this week, Mob, December 10th. And the last episode of the year. Awesome. All right, guys. Now we can get into our closing. So again, the questions are sent when you see the post in the group. Right under the event post, there's a question post where you can post your questions.
I can also post it here.
And you can post questions here. If you have questions, this would be a good place and a good time to do it. If you have any questions, just ask them now because we're closing it out for the year. We won't be back until January 7th. So any questions? Any? Like Chris said, don't forget to leave your review for Bullet Ballet, but ask now, answer now, or else you can always ask in the mob. I always try to answer the questions there too. But you can ask now if you have any questions that are pressing right now. Thank you all guys for being here. Oh, what am I working on right now? Sepia Demon, Rico, and Stormblood. That's currently what I'm working on right now. Those two will be coming out next. Thank you all guys for being here. It's always, yeah, Peaches Con does need to happen, Jeanette. It's always amazing to be here with you guys and to spend some time and have some coffee and hang out. And today we had a great little contest, which was awesome. I really like that. And I want to wish you guys a great end of the year. Please be safe. Keep your family safe. And always be uncommon.